Welcome, friends. My name is Debbie, and I want to thank Carol from My Blessed Nest for hosting this tier tray collab today entitled Let It Snow. Since I'm from Michigan, I definitely know about snow. I like these tier tray collabs because I enjoy seeing the creativity of other participants, so make sure you check out the playlist that I have linked below. In the summer, I am a container gardener, so it makes perfect sense that I would like containers to decorate in also. So I like things like cloches, tiered trays, a simple tray on a coffee table, for example. Then I can put my little decorations on it. I usually need less decorations to actually get a vignette going. And I can move it around to wherever I need it. Same reason I like container gardening. Now, I also generally jump right from Christmas into Valentine's Day. I like using my red pillows for my sofas. I like the bright colors. Remember, I live in Michigan and it's already gray outside. I do like grays and blues, but I don't use them much in my decorating in the winter just because I want to be invigorated by what's around me. So that being said, let's get started. And since I'm planning on keeping the trays simple because I decorate a lot for Christmas, I'm going to share with you 3 different trays. So here are all the pieces that I'm planning to use for my tier tray collab, Let It Snow. I've got the tier tray that I've used for my fall and Christmas. I've got the dresser tray, which kind of reminds me of a skating pond. And I've got a simple wood tray that I like putting on my coffee table. And then here are the other pieces that I'll use on the trays. I think they'll all fit. And there's even some blocks of wood for risers, some little books for risers. I've got a flower frog to hold a card. And then I have these little mini easels to hold my paintings. So that being said, let's get started with this piece. First, I'm going to show you everything that I'm going to put on the tray, or at least everything I think I'm going to put on the tray. I've got 2 original paintings. The artist was G. Benaway, and it was painted in 1979. So I've got 2 of those. I've got a Betsy Clark card. I got actually a pack of cards for 5 cents, and it's going into an old metal frog. Then I like to use clocks in everything that I decorate because we have a clock collection. And I guess I should say everything that I'm going to be using on my trays has been thrifted or I have actually made. I've got a set of salt and pepper shakers, the dough and the buck, and a little cranberry glass that I'm going to put a little tea light into. So when I light it up, it'll be pretty. And then these are just some of my grandkids' old blocks, and I'm going to have them spell out winter. And I have a little ornament left over from Christmas, but again, it has a deer in it, so I'm going to use that. And I have 3 little playbooks that I've used in different trays, and I plan to use them in this tray scenario too. And then this is a little cage that I thrifted, and I'm probably going to put one of my snowmen or snow women that I made couple of years ago out of salt and pepper shakers. I'm going to put him in that cage. And then another riser that I'm planning to use is just a piece of sanded wood and an old pulley that I purchased somewhere along the line. So I have two of these snowmen that I made, and I thought they turned out quite well, and they haven't fallen apart yet. So that's good. And then just a couple of little white trees that are glittered. And those I got at Joann's, you know, 50% sale. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting together the tray, and I'll show you the final product. Here is my finished tier tray. On the top of the tier tray, I used the large canvas. I put my little salt and pepper snowman that I created a year ago in the little cage. And then I used the wood pulley as a riser. I used a little piece of wood as the riser for the ornament with the little deer in it. And then I have a piece of cranberry glass with a little lighted votive. So it has that nice little glow. Coming down to the second level of the tier tray, I used the smaller canvas of the winter scene, and I put the Betsy Clark in the frog. I used the three little books as a riser, made sure the red was up at the top, and put the two little deer, both the doe and the buck, on top of them. I used my green snowman made out of a salt shaker, and I put little trees in them, by the way. And actually it's a snow woman. I'm so sorry. She's wearing a little cape and a crown. And then I have my one little alarm clock, and I spelled winter out with my grandkids' blocks, and I took some of my black and white beads and wrapped them around the little Christmas tree. And now that I'm taking a look at this, I'm going to make an adjustment. So there's my adjustment. I put the little tree on top of the winter blocks, and I curled up my black and white beads so that it doesn't totally block the block spelling of winter. But there is my final product, the tiered tray. Now this tiered tray doesn't have to be seen from all sides because it's going to go next to my piano, and you will see that. I will show you where I placed it at the end. And my tiered tray, as you can see, actually backs up against a wall. That is why I didn't have to worry about making sure you could see everything from every direction. But I think it looks very festive on top of an old card catalog, which has some kids' videos in it. And it's right next to our TV. So all in all, I think the tier tray turned out pretty good. Simple, but good. As you probably noticed, I'm a tweaker. I had to move those black and white beads so you could actually see the winter blocks. I think it looks better. So this tiered tray will be very simple. I'm using a glass dresser tray, usually used in bedrooms or bathrooms. And I'm going to leave it with nothing on the glass because it kind of reminds me of ice. So that's bringing in that winter feel to it. And I'm only going to place a couple of things on it for simplicity. One of the things I'm going to place on it, and all of these things were thrifted except for the little alarm clock, which we actually bought at a antique shop. So I'm starting out with this piece of mercury glass. It's a little perfume. And then I bought another perfume, which had in the bottom of it this little note, and it says, Patricia Foley's collection of ivorine. It's plastic made to simulate ivory. Grew from a picture frame. I found one beautiful frame, and as I looked for another to go with it, I found dresser sets, bud vases, little boxes, and flatware. And now my friend gives me ivorine. So this was actually in the bottom of that little perfume. The next thing I'm going to put on here is a little fairy lamp. Haven't taken the price off of this, but it's actually a cream lace by Sky McKee. I know it's not like some of the antique fairy lamps, but I thought it was very cute. And I'm just going to put a little votive on that, cover it up so you can see how it will glow. My little alarm clock with little fake zircons around it, I'm going to put right on the tray. And my little deer, I'm going to put in the front. I guess I'm going to put those together. Pull this over and put my tree on it. So I put the glass bottom dresser tray in the half bath of our house in Ann Arbor. And as you can see, it's just on a little wash stand, little oak wash stand. And I've got a couple of pictures of my kids when they were much younger, and 2 white pillared candlesticks, which I generally for Valentine's Day will put Valentines on them. But for right now, for just the simple winter decor, this is the little dresser tray. This is my last little tray that I'm going to decorate. And I am going to use an old sugar mold. And I've put some of the styrofoam in it already. And I'm just going to use dollar store succulents to put in the sugar mold. Pretty straightforward and simple. Now the blessed, I did buy this at Hobby Lobby. So the blessed is going right there. And then I've got this little cranberry jar, and I'm going to put a little Christmas tree in there. And then I actually look for rocks when I walk along Lake Michigan. Summit Park in Pentwater has the best rock beach, and I look for them in shapes of hearts. So these are 2 that I have found. Actually, my husband found this one, Mark found this one, and my granddaughter Maddie found this one for me. So I'm going to put those heart-shaped rocks for Valentine's Day right there on my tray. I also use clocks in everything that I possibly can. Mark and I actually did a little antiquing coming back from Pentwater. I believe I posted this one on YouTube, so I can link it below. And the reason why I like this so much, it's a Linden clock also, is if you push this button, we've taken out the batteries, that'll light up the back. So it made it a little bit different than clocks. It's a different clock that we have in our collection now. And last but not least, this little girl was definitely thrifted. She is a Jim Shore. She is actually an ornament, but it's perfect. The pink roses for Valentine's Day. I won't upgrade this one. So That's the end. This is where I put the tray on our grain scale that we use for a coffee table. When we came across this at an antique market, we couldn't resist. It just was different. And we thought, and it has been in our living room for probably now 35 some years. It has toll painting still on it. The scale still does work. That container goes over to protect the scale. And then, of course, the little tray that's decorated for winter. I think looks very nice on this table. And the rocks, I think, go along quite nicely with the rustic feel of our coffee table. Thank you for joining us today in a Tier Trade collab called Let It Snow. And again, it was hosted by Carol from My Blessed Nest. There are also other great videos that are listed in the playlist below. If you like our content that we've shared today, please hit like. And if you want to see us preserve a piece of the past for the present and the future in as many ways as we possibly can, hit subscribe. And if you really want to know when we've loaded a new video, hit that bell. We're so glad you were here with us today, and we hope to see you again in our next video. Bye.